people who are leaving Gibraltar for a Schengen destination, we have decided to use the Wessex Lounge as a departure lounge. The Wessex Lounge is also relatively underutilized. That will mean that if you're traveling and there are flights, let's say to Madrid or Paris or Berlin, then you would check in where you check in today. Then you would go towards where the external airport cafeteria is today. There, opposite that, is the entrance to the Wessex Lounge. There you would have your identity checked, so they would check that you're the person who is traveling, and go through security. And then you would...
Spanish office...
No, the security would be normal airport security. This is not immigration. There are no immigration checks for Schengen.
Okay.
So it's simply airport security. You would then go through the luggage and the hand luggage and your personal security, and then you would go through and join your aircraft. So there are no immigration controls there. Schengen arrivals would actually arrive in the way in which we do today. So you would land, you would enter where you do today. There would be no immigration checks for Schengen arrivals, so people would just come in and arrive. They would then collect their luggage as they do today. Then whether you pass customs and exit into the air terminal, there would be a change. And that change would be that you would travel up to the first floor. So there are lifts and there are staircases going up. That was part of the Cordova arrangement at the time. We'll be making use of that. Then when you arrive on the first floor from Schengen, you would then proceed in the direction of the border and of the joint facility, which is on the western side. So you would walk along the border line. A Gibraltar resident would see there is Spanish customs on the Spanish side and Gibraltar customs on the Gibraltar side. You would go past the Gibraltar customs, and then you would enter into Gibraltar. That is a process for Schengen arrivals. Now, for third country arrivals, which includes...
Let's make that clear. So flights from third countries.
Flights
UK flights.
Yes, flights from third countries. So all passengers would proceed via an entrance which is not used at the moment, which is right next to the one which is used when you arrive. So you then go up escalator and you arrive on the first floor. Then you proceed in the direction of the frontier. You would go through Gibraltar immigration controls conducted by the BCA if you are Gibraltarian or a Gibraltar resident.
Borders and Coast Guard Agency.
The Borders and Coast Guard Agency. You would then continue northwards in the direction of Spain and interact with e-gates, which are the Schengen clearance e-gates. Going through those e-gates, you would then turn round and return the way you came to the luggage carousel, which is there on the first floor. You collect your bags, and then you would join the Schengen arrivals along the corridor, which would take you to customs. You can go through customs, and then you arrive in Gibraltar. Remember, all passengers will arrive in Gibraltar and will depart from Gibraltar. There is no second terminal on the Spanish side. Everybody arrives and leaves from one terminal.